Coffee Break Spanish, Program 65.
Buenos dias, how you do? We got something for you. A bit of Spanish you can try. It's not hard, now don't you cry. Más cerveza, por favor. Un cafecito, I want more. No haggis here, I hope that's fine. Just a bit of Espanol online. Espanol, you're in control. Just be resilient. Learning Spanish is dead brilliant. Just be prepared. Mark and Kara will take you there. Now you're on a roll. It's Coffee Break Español.
Buenos días a todos.
A very good morning from sunny Scotland this fine Sunday morning.
Sí, somos domingo. It's Sunday. It's not even 9 o'clock yet and we're recording.
Pero estamos bien.
Bueno, yo estoy cansado, pero bien.
Things have been so busy in the past few weeks that we've not managed to get the episodes recorded in advance.
So here we are on a Sunday morning. You'll forgive us if we're not quite with it.
¿Qué estudiamos hoy, Mark?
Well, today we're going to revisit the perfect tense. We covered the formation of the perfect tense last week, and this week we'll be working through another very common use. We'll also be looking at some verbs which are irregular in the perfect tense.
Bueno, let's begin.
¿Estás lista?
Sí, estoy lista para aprender español con Coffee Break Spanish.
Coffee Break Español.
So to begin with, Cara, you remember last week that we were looking at the formation of the perfect tense. It was made up of two things, really. One was a part of the verb haber, and the other, can you remember what the other was?
A past participle?
Exactly. Now, just when we're talking about past participles, I've had an email from someone saying, why aren't you saying participle? Well, the fact is that in the UK, we say participle, and I believe in America, you say participle. It's still the same thing. Doesn't really matter which way you pronounce it. So we were talking about the past participle, and let's just talk about the past participle of an regular AR verb. If we take cantar, what would be the past participle of cantar?
Cantado.
Cantado. That ADO ending. Cantado.
Cantado.
And let's take another example. Bailar, the past participle of bailar.
Bailado.
Bailado, exactamente. So we've got ADO, the ending for AR verbs. And the ending for ER and IR verbs isn't ADO, but
IDO. Ido.
IDO, exactly. And that's the same for both ER and IR verbs. So let's take an ER verb, beber, to drink. That would become
Bebido.
bebido. And an IR verb, vivir, to live.
Bebido.
Bebido, exactly. So AR becomes ADO and ER and IR become IDO. So that's all very well for the past participle, but what about the parts of haber? Can you remember how that conjugates, Cara?
As, a, hemos, habéis, an.
Yeah, has, a, hemos, habéis, an. And they're joined together with the past participle. So let's try and see if we can do a little test here. I'll give you some things to translate into Spanish and see if you can work them out. They're all using regular verbs, either AR or IR verbs. How would you say, I have danced?
He bailado.
He bailado. Muy bien. Okay, let's try this one. How would you say, we have sung?
Hemos cantado.
Hemos cantado. Muy bien. What about they have lived?
Han vivido.
Han vivido. Muy bien. And using the tu form, you have drunk a glass of water.
Has bebido agua.
Has bebido agua, vale, pero has bebido un vaso de agua.
Un vaso de agua.
Un vaso, a glass, de agua, of water. Un vaso de agua.
Un vaso de agua.
Can you remember the word that you would use for a glass when you're talking about a glass of wine?
No.
Una copa.
Una copa.
Una copa.
Una copa.
Una copa de vino.
Una copa de vino.
So how would you say, you have drunk a glass of wine?
Has bebido una copa de vino.
Has bebido una copa de vino. Muy bien. Okay, let's try one more. She has learned Spanish.
He aprendido español.
Are you sure it's he aprendido español?
Oh,
She
sorry.
has ha aprendido español.
Ha aprendido español.
Okay, and that does suggest that she's learned the whole of the Spanish language, okay? Ha aprendido español. Okay, let's move on and let's talk a little about when you would actually use this tense. Last week we talked about the fact that it's used to translate the to have done something concept. So I have done this, you have done that, and so on. But there's another use of the perfect tense that is very, very common. So far in Coffee Break Spanish, we've learnt the preterite tense and the imperfect tense. And when we learned the preterite, we thought of the preterite as a narrative tense, something that tells a story in the past. And this is indeed the case. However, sometimes you can use the perfect tense to tell that same story. And this is particularly connected to certain phrases. If you wanted to translate this morning, I sang a song. So, using the perfect tense, how would you say that, Cara?
Esta mañana he cantado una canción.
Exactly. Esta mañana he cantado una canción. You could get away with saying esta mañana canté una canción. That's using the preterite tense, and you would indeed use that in certain parts of the Spanish-speaking world. However, if you want to be ultra correct, then you should use the perfect tense because, in a way, this morning is linked in some way to the present. This morning is only this morning because today is today, if that makes sense. Esta mañana he cantado una canción. Indeed, the perfect tense is often called the present perfect because it has this link to the present. So let's run through these phrases that are your key phrases for the use of the perfect tense or the present perfect tense. We started with esta mañana.
Esta mañana.
Esta mañana means?
This morning.
Yeah. Equally, if we're now in the evening, we could say esta tarde.
Esta tarde.
So esta tarde, if we're referring to the past, when we're in the evening, we would be talking about?
This afternoon.
This afternoon, exactly. Another phrase that is similar in this situation is hace 2 semanas.
Hace 2 semanas.
Now, what would that mean?
2 weeks ago.
Yeah, 2 weeks ago. So hace 2 semanas, 2 weeks ago. And again, that's referring in a way to the present. Hace 2 semanas is linked to just now. Hace 2 semanas, 2 weeks ago from now, has empezado el curso. You began the course. Hace 2 semanas has empezado el curso.
Hace 2 semanas has empezado el curso.
Hace 2 semanas has empezado el curso. Muy bien. Now, I want to stress something here, and that is that this perfect tense, first of all, is used in lots of places where Spanish is spoken, but sometimes the preterite would be used. And for that reason, if you want to use the preterite, then people will understand exactly what you say, what you're saying. If you say, for example, esta mañana fui al mercado, this morning I went to the market, people will understand perfectly what you mean. In a sense, it's maybe like the English saying, this morning I did go to the market. Now, that might sound a little strange, but people understand what it means. However, if you want to be ultra correct, then you should try to use the perfect tense. And it is very easy to use, because once you've got the past participle and the part of haber, then you've got the perfect tense. So far we've seen 2 examples of where you use the perfect tense. Today we've been talking about this immediate past, this very recent past. We've also looked at the situation where we're translating specifically, I have done something. And I'm just going to add to this just now by introducing the word ya. Ya. Y-A. Ya. Do you know what ya means, Cara?
We use it with things like ya está.
Yeah, exactly. Ya literally means already. So if you want to ask someone, have you already eaten? You would say, ya has comido.
Ya has comido.
Ya has comido?
Ya has comido.
So the ya and the has are running together. Ya has comido?
Ya has comido.
So have you already eaten? Some people say that in Scotland or in certain parts of Scotland, people go and visit other people in their house and they begin with, you'll have had your tea. So, ya has cenado.
Ya has cenado.
That's maybe a little Scottishism, but we'll not go into that too much in case we offend people. So, ya has, or ya plus the perfect tense, to have already done something. So how would you say, I have already drunk a glass of water?
Ya he bebido un vaso de agua.
Ya he bebido un vaso de agua. Exacto. Ya he bebido un vaso de agua. Or what about, I have already visited Spain?
Ya he visitado España.
Exactly. So it's ya plus the perfect tense, and it's this idea to have already done something. Ya he visitado España. Even if you leave out the ya, then there's still an idea of to have already done something. He visitado España. I've visited Spain. And it's kind of the same as saying, ya he visitado España. I've already visited Spain. Okay, let's look at one other thing before we finish here, and that is irregular past participles. Just like in other tenses, some verbs are irregular in the perfect tense, and that's really because they have irregular past participles. Note that always, haber stays the same. So you always say he, has, ha, hemos, habéis, and. That's always the same. And in the perfect tense, it's the past participle, which sometimes is irregular. And we're going to look at a few common irregular verbs here. Let's begin with abrir. Abrir is a very common IR verb. It means
to open.
Yeah. But you don't say abrido, taking the ir off and adding ido. You say abierto.
Abierto.
Yeah, and you may well have come across the word abierto, which would mean open on, for example, a shop window. Abierto, the opposite being cerrado. Now, cerrado comes from cerrar, to close, and it's a past participle. And notice here that the past participle takes on an adjectival meaning. So, cerrado, closed, abierto, open. Abierto.
Abierto.
So, how would you say, I have opened the window?
He abierto la ventana.
He abierto la ventana. Perfecto. Okay, another irregular is decir. Decir means?
To say.
Yep, and decir becomes dicho.
Dicho.
Dicho, that really is quite irregular, that one. So, how would you say, have you said?
Has dicho?
Has dicho. Now, dicho, just when we're talking about this, you could say, for example, if you're trying to pronounce a word, you could say, lo he dicho bien.
Lo he dicho bien.
This is a good way of practicing your Spanish and getting better at your Spanish pronunciation. If you're reading a word and you try to pronounce it, and then you say, lo he dicho bien.
Lo he dicho bien.
So, it, have I said well? Did I say it correctly? Lo he dicho bien?
Lo he dicho bien.
Okay. Dicho, coming from decir, to say. Another one linked to saying and expressing would be escribir, meaning to write. And escribir in the perfect tense, or the past participle of escribir, is escrito.
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 How would you say then? We have already written the letter.
Ya hemos escrito la carta.
Muy bien. Ya hemos escrito la carta. Ya hemos escrito la carta. Okay, so that's escribir, becoming escrito. Hacer, or hacer, means...
To do or to make.
That's it. And in the perfect tense, the past participle of hacer is hecho.
Hecho.
So, I have done my homework. Do you remember the word for homework?
Los deberes.
Los deberes. Okay, so my homework would be mis deberes. I have done my homework.
He hecho mis deberes.
Muy bien. How would you say, I've already done my homework?
Ya he hecho mis deberes.
Ya he hecho mis deberes. Muy bien. So we've had abrir becoming,
Abierto,
decir becoming,
dicho,
escribir, which became
escrito,
hacer.
hecho,
Let's do one more. Let's take ver. Ver means,
to see,
now ver becomes visto.
visto,
That's V-I-S-T-O. So how would you say, I have seen the film?
he visto la película.
He visto la película. Muy bien. How would you say, this morning we saw the monument?
Esta mañana hemos visto la monumenta.
El monumento.
El monumento.
Esta mañana hemos visto el monumento.
Esta mañana hemos visto el monumento.
Okay, that's where we're going to leave it today.
Coffee break español.
Bueno, hoy hemos estudiado los verbos.
Hemos aprendido mucho.
We have indeed learned a lot today. Well done. That's where we're going to leave it for this week. Before we finish, however, I'd like to mention a couple of things. As you all know, we're a small company with a small team working on both the production of the podcasts and the support side of things. We try our best to keep both the production schedule and the support going. In order to streamline our customer support system, we're introducing a new help desk, and we hope that this will help to ensure that all listeners and premium subscribers will receive answers to their queries more efficiently from our team.
Where can the listeners find the help desk?
It's at radiolinguahelpdesk.com. No hyphens in there, just radiolinguahelpdesk.com. And it is very much in beta at the moment. It's still in test status. However, I would stress that from now on, if anyone has any problems or queries, please contact us via the help desk or on the email address support@radiolingua.com. This way, the query will be logged in our system and both you and we will be able to track the query more effectively. Please do bear with us as we transfer over existing open requests to the new system.
Anything else?
Just that our premium subscribers should be receiving a number of updates over the next few days. Y sentimos mucho el retraso.
Okay, I'm off to enjoy my Sunday.
Y yo también. ¿Qué vas a hacer hoy, cara?
Voy a dar un paseo con Antonio y voy a comer con mi familia. ¿Y tú?
Bueno, mis padres vienen a vernos esta tarde y, además de eso, un poco de trabajo en casa.
Muy bien.
Que lo pases bien, cara, y muchas gracias a todos por haber desarrollado este podcast.
Gracias. Adiós.
Hasta la próxima.
Coffee break español.
This podcast was brought to you by the Radiolingua Network. Find out more at www.radiolingua.com.